Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kavika and I am the Squared Circle Scholar. Today, I will be giving my predictions on AEW's All Out. Let's get right into this. Now, before we get started, I want you to let me know down in the comments below who you think is all going to win at All Out. First on the card, we have in a coffin match, Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin. I'm excited for this entire card. I can't wait to see All Out. I will be watching All Out instead of WrestlePalooza, just so you all know. Darby is the one who made Jon Moxley lose his AEW World Championship. Well, he's one of the many reasons as to why he lost it. I'm just so excited that we're having things like coffin matches back, and later on, we'll talk about the tables and Tacks match, the ladder match that they're going to have, all this crazy stuff on this card. And I think Jon Moxley here is going to go on a bit of a losing streak, starting with this coffin match. I think Darby Allin is going to win here to kind of cement himself back. I'm here. I'm in AEW. I'm back. I'm not climbing Mount Everest. I'm not skateboarding. I am here. I am ready to win a championship. And while Jon Moxley is still probably, except for MJF, the top heel in the company, it is kind of wearing out, I've, in my opinion, in my brief time being back and watching AEW, he's kind of lost his luster, and I don't know if it's just me or if it's the group of him, Cesaro, and Yuta, but I don't know. It just feels like they lost their luster. Let me know what you think down below. Next on the card for the AEW World Tag Team Championship in a four-way ladder match, we have the champions Brodido versus the Young Bucks versus JetSpeed versus the Don Callis family. I really love what they're doing with Brody King and Bandido. It kind of reminds me of the days of Booker T and Goldust, maybe not on the comedy aspect, but the way that you just take the two most random people you can think of, put them in a tag team, and it actually works. This actually works. I hate when they put two random people together and it doesn't work. That is the worst. Then you have JetSpeed, you have the Young Bucks, and then you have the Don Callis family. JetSpeed, awesome wrestlers, crazy guys, love their in-ring work. They're not gonna win. I'm sorry. I can see the Young Bucks winning just because they're having this whole new character rework of we're not EVP, so we no longer get what we want. And maybe they win the championship here, and they're like, well, we're the champions now, so you have to show us some kind of respect. You can't just be constantly disrespecting us, changing our music, having, fireworks go off whenever, not having any music. Their Titantrons all crazy all the time. That would be an interesting wrinkle in their own storyline right now. I think the Don Callis family is just here to make it a four-way and not a three-way, to kind of make it more well-rounded as opposed to maybe two teams just working over one, and then we just have a 2-on-2, and then they eventually come in, knock out another team, this constant 2-on-2. We need a full rotation of wrestlers so they're constantly all over the place. Now, I want Brodido to retain here. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I do think the Young Bucks are going to win. I think it's just to add that extra wrinkle into this heelish characters that they're playing right now, with the whole losing of the EVP status, them constantly being disrespected by other wrestlers, the crowd, stage crew, the producers, all that. They want respect. This is how they're going to, quote unquote, re-earn their respect. Next on the card, in a tables and Tacks match, we have Mark Briscoe versus MJF. To me, everything I've seen of Mark Briscoe always seems like he's the risk taker. He seems like he's the kind of guy that would always be in the hardcore match, or maybe even the death matches that they do in the indie scene, or maybe in Japan wrestling. I just don't see him losing this match to a guy who's more of a technical wrestler, and if we're saying anything here, he's probably better on the mic than he is in the ring, that being MJF. Not to say I don't like his in-ring work. I think he's absolutely amazing, but his promo skills are leaps and bounds above what he can do in the ring. And because of that, I kind of have to give the edge to Mark Briscoe. I didn't ever think I would say Mark Briscoe is going to beat MJF, but this match is suited for Mark Briscoe. And I know it's a hardcore match essentially, so there is no like edge, but if you're constantly used to just being hit with literally everything, including the kitchen sink, I don't think some tables and tacks are really going to do much to you, right? So definitively, my choice is Mark Briscoe. Next on the card for the AEW Unified Championship in a three-way match, we have champion Kazuchika Okada versus Konosuke Takeshita versus Máscara Dorado. I saw the match versus Dorada and the Beast, and honestly, either one of them would have been a great pick for this match. I'm glad it's Dorada because he seems more like he would be more fluid against Okada and Takeshita. And I love having Takeshita. I love having Okada, both with their hard-hitting styles. I'm really hoping we're going to get some really hard-hitting stuff from them two. And then Dorado is going to like round it out with his high-flying, really fast-paced movement, as well as being hard-hitting himself. Now, as to who's going to win, I think Okada retains here. I can't see Dorado winning it over the two, even though it is a three-way, so shenanigans could, happen. And I don't see Takeshita winning. I can maybe see him pinning Dorado, but I feel like Okada is going to do that. That's just how I'm feeling. Okada's doing great work right now. There's no reason to take the belt off of him. I know this is going to be a great match, and I would hate to see it not necessarily ruined, but I would hate to see him lose it here, Maybe later on, maybe a one-on-one against Takeshita, so it's like a definitive win if Takeshita were to win, or if Okada were to retain. I would like that better. So I want Okada to win here so that we can have a more concrete match against whoever he's going to eventually lose it to. Next on the card, we have Eddie Kingston versus Big Bill. This match, I really don't have anything to say about. I'm not going to waste much time on it at all. I think Big Bill's going to win over Eddie Kingston. I don't know why. That's just what I'm feeling right now. Next on the card, we have Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus FTR. I know this is the reunion of Edge and Christian, even though it's not, Edge and Christian, it's Cope and Christian Cage. I don't think they're winning here. I think FTR are going to win here. They're doing fantastic heel work, and this is basically the reunion of Edge and Christian. And it's been a long time since they've been a tag team. I know sometimes things could be like riding a bicycle. I think it's just been too long for the two. I think they lose here because they've kind of lost their footing with one another. Their timing, their pacing, they're not on the same page. And it seems like to me that Christian hasn't fully come over to Adam's side, which is why I'm hesitant to say that they'll win. And FTR are one of the greatest tag teams in the world. They got the pacing, they got the strength, the hard hitting, the technicality. I think it's a no-brainer that FTR is going to win. Next on the card, in a trios match, we have the Hurt Syndicate versus Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. Ever since Ricochet came into AEW, I've loved his character so much more than this, babyface that never says anything or never really does anything except for the occasional viral moment. This is so much more fun watching him be a heel and actually being able to branch out and do different things. And along with the Gates Agony, I think if they were to make him like a common stable that we see from week to week, that would be really fun. And then of course you have the Hurt Syndicate, and what can I say that hasn't already been said about him? Everybody loves the Hurt Syndicate. We hurt people. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Bobby Lashley, fantastic, strong, fast. Shelton, fantastic, strong, fast. And then you got the mouthpiece, MVP. Now, he's going to be in this match. He doesn't take many bumps anymore, but I loved watching him just beat on Ricochet with the cane. And I really hope we just get a little bit of that in this match here. Now, as to who's going to win, I know it might seem just a little bit crazy, but I'm going to go with Ricochet in the Gates of Agony. I think shenanigans are going to happen. I really do. I feel like that's the only way Ricochet in the Gates of Agony can beat the Hurt Syndicate, because they're such like just a crazily stacked team. So I got to go with Ricochet. He's doing such great work. And then with the Gates of Agony, this could lead to a Trios Championship match, maybe eventually somewhere down the road. I just really love the work they're doing right now. Nothing against the Hurt Syndicate. Love the Hurt Syndicate. I just really love what they're doing right now, and I'd love to see them do more in the future. So I'm going with Ricochet in the Gates of Agony. Next on the card, for the TBS Championship, champion Mercedes Moné versus Riho. I feel like I've been saying this the entire video. I love Riho. She's a great, great wrestler, but I just can't see her beating Mercedes Moné. Mercedes has got like 23 billion titles right now. Unless shenanigans happen, I feel like it's just Mercedes Moné all day. Don't get me wrong, this is going to be a fantastic match. They are both fantastic wrestlers, but Mercedes Moné is not losing the TBS Championship to Riho. I just don't feel like Riho's a big enough star to be the one to just rip that from her, if that makes any sense. So definitively, I'm going with Mercedes Moné is retaining her championship. Next on the card, for the AEW Women's World Championship in a 4-way match, we have champion Timeless Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter versus Kris Statlander versus Thekla. Timeless Toni Storm is having a timeless run in wrestling. This is one of the characters that will go down in wrestling history forever, especially in the women's division. There aren't many characters like her that I can think of off the top of my head in wrestling, period. She feels like she has done so much to change the way a woman wrestler can change the scene. It's like Trish Stratus and Lita were like the forefront of changing women's wrestling, along with others like Jazz and Gail Kim and Awesome Kong, all those women. But they never really had characters. They were more of just like, I'm going to wrestle and beat you up. Whereas Timeless Toni Storm, she's like this over-the-top theater actress with a butler, and it's just awesome. And with saying that here, I think she loses the title here at All Out. I don't think she retains. We're still going to have Timeless Toni, just without the championship. And I think any of the other 3 women would be perfect people to have as the women's champion. I don't think it's going to be Thekla, just because she's so new, at least from what I understand. From what I understand, she's new. She's not because I think Jamie Hayter and Kris Statlander have been with AEW longer than her. So I don't think she's at that point where they're going to reward her with the AEW Women's World Championship. So I'm kind of stuck with Jamie and Kris. And the more I mull it over in my brain, I think Kris Statlander is going to win here. I think she, from everything I've seen, is the most hard-hitting, the one that can really carry this women's division without relying on Toni Storm. Like I said, they all have great matches. They're all fantastic. I just see that Kris Statlander stands out so much more to me than the other two. I think if somebody else has to win, if Toni Storm doesn't retain, it has to be Kris Statlander. Unless they want to go with something crazy and oddball and out there, I think Kris Statlander is going to be AEW's new Women's World Champion. And finally, for the AEW World Championship, champion Hangman Adam Page versus Kyle Fletcher. AEW is known for having their wrestlers hold multiple belts at the same time. You've got people that are like this champion, a trios champion, a tag team champion, or you got people like Mercedes Moné, where she's holding, 23 billion titles. They're just everywhere. They're everywhere. She doesn't even know how many she has anymore. So it necessarily wouldn't surprise me if they want to put the belt on Kyle Fletcher and have him be the AEW World Champion and the TNT Champion. There's one problem with that, though. The match that Hangman Adam Page had against Jon Moxley was absolute, I wouldn't say absolute, but almost perfection. It was so close. It's so close. After rewatching it, it's one of the greatest matches that I've seen AEW put on. I'm sure there's better ones. But it's one of the best ones I have personally seen, because I haven't seen all of AEW. I haven't seen everything they've ever done. And I know Kyle Fletcher is an amazing wrestler. I really liked him in that Fatal 4-Way match for the TNT Championship. And I just can't see Hangman losing it here. I just can't. Not after having that insane match with Jon Moxley. I'm not saying Kyle Fletcher isn't the right choice. He is a fantastic wrestler. I do see him as a future AEW World Champion. Just not at this point in time. And because he's not the right one to win it just yet, Hangman Adam Page is going to continue to be our world champion for the time being. Because after that win against Jon Moxley and what he's done since, he's put a new definition of what it means to be an AEW world champion. And right now, Kyle Fletcher does not meet that new definition. So with that, I'm so excited to see this entire card, Hangman Adam Page still be our AEW World Champion. I am so ready for this. And those are my predictions for AEW All Out 2025. Let me know down in the comments below who you think is going to win. And while you're down there, you might as well hit the like, the subscribe. That little notification bell is down there as well. You might as well give that a little ring. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.